Guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our NFL Championship game preview and picks. As always, I have Ethan joining me in this week's video. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Get us to 500 subscribers where we will be doing another giveaway like before. And all you have to do to be entered is just be a subscriber to our channel. But before we get into this week's picks, we got to talk about last week's divisional round. Ethan going 4-0. I went 3-1 with a long shot pick there with the Giants, but I think this was more on the dominance of these teams rather than the good games that they were. But what do you have to say about that?
Well, obviously, I'm going to start here in Cincinnati or in Buffalo with Cincinnati playing probably their best game of the season. They looked really impressive with the time management and just really dominated Buffalo and Josh Allen throughout that whole game. So that was very impressive to me. And then Dallas, they hung around. Brock Purdy, didn't look fantastic. He didn't look like a Hall of Famer, but he did enough to let the Niners win. And obviously Dak as well, throwing 2 interceptions and almost threw a pick 6 in that final drive there. So not a good look for Dak there.
Yeah, and then I'll talk about those games before the Kansas City-Jacksonville game. Obviously, Mahomes got hurt for a little bit, and not enough people are giving Chad Henne credit for going down the field 98 yards to lead a touchdown in that one drive he really played in. And that was a big spot for him to go in, right before half, all of this. The game was still close at the time, and that really kind of took them over the edge and gave them a comfortable lead when Mahomes came back in. And that just shows the resilience, not just of Henne, but this team. They've had battled a few, adversity things this year, and it really hasn't knocked their confidence or knocked them down as a team in whole. And if you look at the flip side, the Jaguars, they were close. Like they were a few plays away from possibly pulling off the upset. The drop ball, the deep shot that Kirk had, and then the whatever the incompletion was that Lawrence had. Whatever you want to call it. But the Jaguars do look like a team next year that could be legit and possibly give some AFC teams run for their money. And then you got to talk about Philly just absolutely demolishing the Giants. Giants didn't show up, simple as that. And Dable and his team just, I think has to be happy about where they got this year because no one even thought they'd be this good getting to the divisional round. And the Eagles obviously are on a crash course to get this far, and if not the Super Bowl. But we do have to start with the Eagles in the NFC Championship, and they are going against, I guess you could say, both our 49ers as we both are taking the upset on the road. We got to stick to their playoff brackets, can't go against them now as we've gotten this far, so why not ride it out? But I just think that the Niners are just on a crash course for a Super Bowl run. The magical run that they've been had with 3 starting quarterbacks this year. And Trey Lance, obviously was the guy coming in that he was going to have the big year and whatnot, got hurt. Jimmy G stepped in, did his usual, 200 yards, a touchdown game, get a win. And then Brock Purdy came out of nowhere and just ignited this offense and took them to a whole new level. But you did say last week, they did struggle against Dallas's defense, which Dallas does have a very good defense. Eagles are fully healthy. Their defense has been great this year, but it's going to come down to the run game, I think, for both of these teams. Niners have good secondary. Eagles have a good secondary now that they're all healthy. But McCaffrey and Miles Sanders are going to be the big guys you're going to have to watch out for. And maybe Brock Purdy, gets into the action there with a few rushing yards. But if we're going strictly off of defensive play, I've seen way more from the 49ers dominating teams than the Eagles in recent weeks, even dating back to the regular season. So I got to go with the Niners.
Yeah, this game is very interesting to me because I can see both the Eagles and the 49ers winning. It's going to be a very tough game for Brock Purdy at CenturyLink Field. It's a very loud crowd there. But the thing is, they got Trent Williams, George Kittle, McCaffrey, guys that have been there. And I think that will help the communication in the huddle a lot. So that's part of the reason why I take the Niners. But also the Eagles, obviously their main force is the run game. And they're very good at it. But the Niners' specialty on defense is stopping the run. So this is a great matchup, and it's going to be very interesting to see if the Eagles can get A.J. Brown going. And because we know Jalen Hurts can throw the ball. It's not like he can't throw the ball, and he's only the rushing attack. So if the Eagles can pass the ball and get some balance in that offense, this could be a whole different story. But I'm going to take the Niners here. I just think that defense matches up very well with the Eagles offense. And obviously the weapons for the 49ers are going to be key for a big win.
And then moving over to the AFC, Bengals going on the road to Burrowhead, because Joe Burrow's 3-0 in Kansas City against Mahomes and company, dealing with his ankle. And I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. And this year, I think the Chiefs do get the best of Burrow, same situation as last year. Bengals are a team not really, people were thinking, oh, it was kind of a Super Bowl fluke run last year and whatnot. And here they are again in the same position. And you got to give them credit for not only just winning games, but dominating them as well. But the thing that concerns me is teams with good defenses, which the Chiefs, well, have been susceptible of that. But, you never know. It is the playoffs. We saw it happen last year. But I think this game is going to come down to the wire like it did last year. It's going to go to overtime like it did last year. And I think this is where we're going to see the new rule of overtime come into play. The Chiefs are going to get the ball first. They're going to score a touchdown. Bengals will go down, score a touchdown. And then I think the Chiefs will win on a field goal, or unless the Bengals go for two, they will win on a stop 2-point conversion. And I think that over is going to hit well. I think this game's going to be a 31-28, 31-30 type game, which is kind of surprising. I'm surprised that the over-under is that low, but, Vegas knows something. They're always cooking up. So you got to go with the Chiefs here for my pick, and I got to have my NFL playoff bracket be looking pretty good for the Chiefs and Niners.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame us. We have to take the Niners and Chiefs here because we both predicted them to be in the Super Bowl. So what do we look like now if we change it? So obviously, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here as well. Joe Burrow with the win last week, I already thought, my opinion was Joe Burrow's over Josh Allen anyway, but now it's not much of a debate. He just went in there and showed he was the better quarterback. And now he has a chance to do that again. I'm not saying that he's better. Joe Burrow is automatically better than Mahomes if they win, but you can make the argument for sure. And I think this is going to be obviously it's going to be a great game. Like you said, overtime. I'd be surprised if it wasn't overtime. It's going to come down to the final seconds. Both offenses are very explosive, and I think it's going to come down to who can stop the run and make the other team very uncomfortable. And I think the Chiefs and Chris Jones will be able to do that. And that's why I'm going to take the Chiefs in a very high-scoring game and game of the year.
Make sure you guys come back next week to see how we did in our picks. And then we will be doing a Pro Bowl special, kind of previewing events and looking at what there is. With the new format this year, it's more enjoyable to at least tune into and see where we go from there. So we might throw a little video there together, but make sure you guys come back for our Super Bowl video. It'll be a big one. We'll have bets, our best bets to take, what, we're looking at as well. And then obviously our Super Bowl pick and game score predictions too. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.
She never called back.